Howdy, assholes! Are you 13? Are you? Well, let me tell you something. If you're 13 years old or older, sit back, grab yourself some popcorn, enjoy the show. You're allowed to stay. But if you're not 13, get the fuck out. Right now. This show is not for you. It is not for children. It is for adults and young adults, and you should go ask your parents why they suck at their job because they're letting YouTube raise their kid. So yeah, go do that. Come back when you're 13. Enough said.
Pirates, terrorism, Godzilla. What do these three things have in common? No idea, but someone decided to throw them in a blender and make a movie. Let's take a look. So, Noah, Ebirah Horror of the Deep, or as it's known in America, because America likes to screw with names, Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. Are you ready to begin today's festivities?
Bite me, SpongeBob.
Okay, I don't, what, like, that's from SpongeBob, right? I haven't watched SpongeBob, so, you know, I don't know that shit. But yeah.
I just had to do the voice.
Oh no. Oh no. Why? Why? You didn't have to do shit like that. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this. First things first, Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. We'll go over the actors and shit in a second. But, Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, you know what, no, I'm just gonna call it by its original Japanese name, Ebirah Horror of the Deep. Yeah, Ebirah Horror of the Deep, was actually not supposed to feature Godzilla originally. It was supposed to feature King Kong. However, due to Godzilla having more marketing value and due to the fact that Toho still wanted to make other King Kong films, they ended up going with Godzilla instead of King Kong. And that's how Godzilla got wrapped up in this... I'm not going to say train wreck of a film because it's actually not a bad movie, but it's certainly far from the best.
It has its moments, though.
Oh, it does have its moments. It has its amnesiac moments. Well, at least it's not as bad as some films we're going to see here soon. God help me.
For the cast of this wonderful and sheer-hearted, lobster-filled movie, we have Akira Takarada as Yoshimura, Toru Watanabe as Ryota Kanai. Interesting name. Toru Ibuki as Yata Kanai, Shotaro Togen as Ichino, Hideo Sunatsuka as Nita. Kumi Mizuno as Dayo. Then we got a pair Bambi as the Sojin, Mothra's tiny little priestesses.
And also, before we forget, the director is actually a director that's going to be responsible for many future Godzilla films. Varying in quality. Jun Fukuda. This man, not everything he makes is a bad film, but, you know, just some of the shit that he makes coming up here soon. Some of the shit he's responsible for overseeing is just sad. And yeah, go ahead and list the men who play the monsters.
The kaijus now.
Yes.
We, of course, have Haruo Nakahima as Godzilla.
Yes.
Then we got Hiroshi Sekita as Ebirah, Mr. Giant Crab Claws, as I like to call him.
Yep. Alright, so here's a brief rundown of the film Ebirah Horror of the Deep. And this is why I call the main characters pirates. So, after a man by the name of Yata Kane, I'm assuming I'm saying that right, is lost at sea, his brother Rota Kane and his family grow devastatingly concerned about his well-being and safety, And as such, Rota is determined to find him and actually ends up befriending two individuals at a dance party where they're trying to, where the winner gets a yacht. And, yeah, they end up losing anyway, but then they decide to go down to the beach and get themselves a boat anyway. Or, well, they weren't planning on it, but once they get on the boat, turns out that this boat has been inhabited and plans to be hijacked by a master criminal who, for some reason, allows him to stay the night with him and then disappear in the morning. Only for all of them to wake up in the morning and realize that Rota has hijacked the whole thing and has taken all three of them essentially hostage. And now they're out at sea, going to search for his brother, who three of these people don't even know. Oh god, this is starting to sound like 10 Cloverfield Lane, just from the 60s. Yeah. And so yeah, basically, they keep going until eventually they run into a giant monster by the name of Ebirah, who destroys their boat with his claw, and now they're stranded on an island that is inhabited by terrorists. Oh, as if pirates wasn't bad enough. And in order to stay alive, they must stay around long enough for Mothra to show up and end up saving their asses. However, Mothra is not notoriously, but she is lazy as hell in this movie and literally takes 5 days of the Infant Island natives to sing to her in order to wake up. And then, yeah, our heroes just decide that they don't want to wait that long. So when they discover Godzilla, the king of the monsters, inside of a cave on that very island, they decide to wake him up to battle the giant lobster and save the slaves of Infant Island.
We got the perfect line for this.
Oh no.
Simon says, "Wake the fuck up!"
You watched that dude's YouTube videos too? Shit.
Yes!
Yeah.
Simon says, "Wake the fuck up!"
Oh shit, I gotta go watch that dude's videos now. Damn it. So yeah. If it sounds like there's a lot going on in the movie's runtime, it's because there is. And honestly, we'll talk more about this in a minute, but I honestly feel as though this movie would have been better if Mothra was the main protagonist. One, because they could have dedicated more time to, like, upgrading her design and whatnot, and making her look less hideous to watch. And two, because, honestly, Godzilla just feels out of place here. I mean, I like the fact that they're showing Godzilla becoming a hero, and, like, you know, I like the fact that they're showing Godzilla willing to, you know, be less of a dick, but at the same time, he just feels out of place here. I don't know, like, it's honestly like plopping a dog in the middle of a cat kennel. Like, I don't understand why the hell Godzilla, does some of the shit he does in this movie. And it's very clear that, it's abundantly obvious that King Kong was supposed to be in this movie in place of Godzilla because of the way Godzilla acts. He has a small romantic interest in Dio for a few minutes, and he also attacks Mothra unprovoked. Yeah, like I said, he just feels out of place, and I don't understand it. And so yeah, despite my personal preference, me thinking that Godzilla honestly should have been out of the film. And I hate saying that because Godzilla's my boy. Y'all know me. I love the G-Man. He's awesome. But at the same time, I just feel like this role could have been better for another kaiju. And now...
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And now, speaking of kaiju, talking about the monster action. First of all, let's go ahead and talk about the puppets. Mothra and the giant bird. I don't even know what the hell this giant bird is called. Like, is it a condor? Or is it like some sort of prehistoric dinosaur bird that should have died off millions of years ago. Like, what the hell is this thing?
Or is it a long lost relative of Rodan that we never got to see because he never got the role for the movie?
I don't know. I mean, shit. Honestly, this thing could be anything at this point, but the puppets, honestly, are kind of the worst part of the movie. Mothra looks ugly as shit, not nearly as good as she did in the 1964 film. And the bird, yeah, I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but it doesn't look good. It just, like, it's nasty. It's nasty, and the puppet of it flying looks decent-ish, but then the puppet when it's used to like slash at or peck at Godzilla's face just looks dumb. Honestly, I mean, there's no other way to put it. It just looks like it's nasty to look at, and I honestly wish that whole fight would have been omitted from the film entirely. No, what are your thoughts on Mothra and the Bird?
Well, as you said, Mothra, she does not look her best. They did her dirty, honestly.
Yeah.
For the bird, which I like calling Burb, it could have used a bit more of background. It's an interesting thing to watch, but
where the fuck
we
did
hardly
it
know
come
shit
from?
of it.
It's got the same problem as Zetus from that Gamera the Brave movie. Like, it's a cool monster, and it's an interesting idea, but we have no idea where it came from except the ocean. The same is true here with the bird, where it's an interesting concept, but we have no idea where it came from except the sky. Like, how the hell are we We're focusing way too much on the bird, I just realized, Noah. Let's talk about the suits now. Let's talk about Ebirah first. Ebirah, there's not really much to his design. He's a giant shrimp slash lobster monster. What?
He's a giant fucking lobster!
Yeah, lobster slash shrimp. This thing is, like, it doesn't even look like a shrimp. It just looks like a freaking lobster with a deformed claw. And yeah, I mean, honestly, even though it's simple, it is an intriguing idea. I would have preferred if maybe Ebirah had some sort of, interesting, like, power to make him a little more interesting, but honestly, I'm asking a little too much from this movie with that.
I got an idea.
What?
He just summons more lobsters to chip away at another kaiju's flesh with their meaty claws.
Honestly, if there were a bunch of lobsters, if a lobster could penetrate Godzilla's flesh, that thing deserves to retire for the rest of its life. But, I mean, just this, like, okay, Ebirah, I mean, he's a cool design, and some of the, like, I don't exactly know whether or not, the full suit was 100% attached at all times, because honestly, when Ebirah's standing in the water, it looks like he's bending and breaking his tail. But then when there are scenes where you see his full body, then he looks like decent and he doesn't look bad at all. And yeah, all in all, I do think that ultimately, Ebirah and Godzilla's effects and suits were, like, the highlights of the monster action in this film. Which brings me to Godzilla. Noah, what the fuck did they do to my boy?
Well, so let's take a closer inspection at the old monster, shall we? Well, first of all, I'm sorry, I was born in the 50s. I must get a close-up inspection of this motherfucker. The fuck's going on with that slope on his face?
Exactly! Okay. A lot of people who watch this movie say that Godzilla looks like he's on drugs. And I can't disagree with them.
Yeah.
He legitimately looks like he's high as a kite or something. What the hell happened to my boy? Seriously. What, like, and you know what the worst part is? The worst part is the simple fact that Godzilla's suit in this film, it is very obviously the same suit they used in Invasion of Astro Monster, but what the hell happened during filming? Because, like, during the first fight with Ebirah, which, by the way, Godzilla shows up extremely late in this film, yeah, during his first fight with Ebirah, Godzilla's suit actually didn't look bad, and he looked he looked decent, kind of like he did in Invasion of Astro Monster, maybe with some slight changes to the face. But then you get later on, and it's like they completely ripped off his head and replaced it with a stoner. Like, what? His eyes are all bugged out. It looks like he's honestly blind with how freaking pale they are. And what the hell happened to just no? I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand. Also, at the same time, I'm trying to understand Walt's at the same time knowing what comes in the next movie.
Oh.
Oh, good God, help
I mean,
me.
seeing as how he looks in the movie, it makes you wonder, what was he doing in that cave besides sleeping?
He was probably hitting a bong. He was I don't want to say it, but he was probably hitting some hardcore shit. Maybe the kaiju equivalent to
Ah,
heroin, because he looks ugly as dog shit towards the end of the movie.
I wonder if Mothra got in some of that stuff as well for how lazy she is.
No, she just decided to put on too much her paint and it was weighing down her skin.
There-
Okay, let's move on to the humans before we get, before we get Clintoned.
Hmm.
Alright,
Gotta.
so the human aspect. Honestly, I hate to say this, but the human aspect of this film is handled better than the monsters. It really is. Um, yeah, our characters, they're not the best when it comes to, Godzilla film, human characters, but they are a significant step up from the monster action, and even a lot of the human aspects from prior films, because these guys, first of all, you can tell they're having fun with the role. Second of all, even though there is one character that we shall not speak of because he is Japanese Cletus. But yeah, basically, the story elements of the human characters is actually very intriguing because the Red Bamboo, which is a terrorist organization that is established on a small island, is basically going to Infant Island, kidnapping slaves, kidnapping native slaves, and taking them to, taking them to their base of operations so they can make this yellow liquid out of the plants in order to keep Ebirah away. And yeah, I mean that's just the reason they need the slaves. But then there's what these terrorists are selling and manufacturing at this place. These guys are building nuclear weapons on this freaking island, which explains why it was so easily destroyed at the end of the movie with a nuclear explosion. Because yeah, that's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And then there's the simple fact that, honestly, I kind of think that Rota's brother, Yata, who is introduced towards the end of the film, I wish that he wasn't in the film because he takes this cast of characters that each has their strengths and weaknesses that are played upon pretty damn well, all things considered, throughout the film. And then he just turns the whole place into a war zone with his hippie attitude, and he puts himself in danger needlessly without any real rhyme or reason. And it's stupid. It's just flat stupid. Rhoda, I hate to say it, but at this point, just leave your brother behind. He's a liability. And all things considered, I mean, this film has its ups and downs. Definitely the best part of this movie is the master criminal, Yoshimura. And yeah, he's kind of the dude carrying the whole team because he, like, without his lockpicking, skill, he's essentially, like, not worthless, but he's significantly less effective. But also, without that, the rest of these guys would have already been dead. So, yeah, I kind of find that interesting and funny at the same time. And then Dial. Dial's not bad either. She's actually pretty damn good. And if it wasn't for her wanting a necklace when they snuck into the Red Bamboo's base of operations, they would have never been able to wake up Godzilla. Which is honestly kind of hilarious because they wake up Godzilla by waiting for a lightning storm, tying a piece of wire around a machete that they find on the island. And then, which, by the way, how did that machete get there? Like, they literally just climb up a cliff, and all of a sudden, there's a machete at the top of the cliff.
Plot.
Yeah, best explanation. And yeah.
I mean, we don't want to talk about items appearing out of nowhere, seeing as how Midoriya pulled out a book out of his ass.
Yeah.
Didn't even have pockets. Like, where the fuck did it come from? Even Uraraka saw it. She was confused.
No, I don't think any of us want to know where that thing came from. God damn it. But yeah, like, with a machete and some wire, and some light and some conveniently timed lightning, they ended up waking up Godzilla and essentially saving everybody. So Noah, with all that being said, who would you recommend this movie to? Like, what audiences?
Well, honestly, I'd say it would probably be better for more with the adults, because I don't think a kid would just sit around just waiting for something to happen. He'd probably get bored and just go watch something else. So
Yeah, no,
probably
for
for
real.
a bit of an older audience.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, you're totally right on that, because, like, Godzilla and the monster action doesn't even really kick off until, like, what, an hour and 20 minutes into the film?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just sad. And, yeah, same here, dude. I would, like, recommend this, movie to, like, an older-ish audience, but at the same time, I kind of wouldn't even recommend it to those people because, you know, I mean, they're not going to take this movie seriously because it's a goofy-ass man in a rubber suit that looks like he's high, freaking beating the shit out of a lobster.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, Ebirah, wanna play a game? Here, I'll toss this rock and you'll throw it back at me. I learned this game from Kong.
hey, yo,
Yeah.
don't tell Rodan I took all his weed before I left.
Where's the weed? Oh wait, I know the reason why the burp is there. He
Why?
came back to retrieve weed for Rodan.
Oh, God!
Hey yo, did you take my cousin's weed? I'll have to take that back, buddy.
Oh, thank God that bird died. Maybe Godzilla went back and ate it later.
Wouldn't be surprised. That chicken does sound nice.
Yeah. And yeah, honestly though, yeah. Noah's right. I would recommend this, film to an older-ish audience, but at the same time, if you're gonna watch this movie, just take logic and consistency and just throw it out the window, and you'll have a great time. But, you know, for those of us who want a little bit of common courtesy, I wouldn't really recommend this film.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And yeah, there's I hate to say it, but there are a few Godzilla films like that where there's just not a good audience for it because they're just not that good. And unfortunately, in the next movie, we are definitely going to see one of those films because Noah,
Mhm.
be prepared. Ladies and gentlemen, join us next time. Join us tomorrow when we take a look at Son of Godzilla.
Donkey noises!
Good God, help us all.
Alright, y'all know the drill. Like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Y'all want more videos, right? More kick-ass shit? Well, good, because I want more views. Let's help each other on this.